Hello, Master P&ID and other schematics, process and instrumentation diagram P&IDs, and engineering schematics in process plant design. Overview. It's all about P&ID. Today we are looking at the course content. What you learn in chapter 1, lesson 1. Here we are going to be looking at the complete introduction to Master P&ID and control symbols. What you will learn in chapter 2. In chapter 2, we are going to be looking at getting started with P&ID diagram and control components. Who designed the P&ID? Step in P&ID design. Understand the process plant description. Process description of a simplified biodiesel plant as an example. Developing the block flow diagrams. Developing the process flow diagrams. Developing the process and instrumentation diagram. Back to the basic question. Who designed the P&ID? What is your observation? How about the PFD? What's your observation? Finally, who designed the P&ID? Success or failure of the P&ID? And some quick exercises. In chapter 3, we are going to be looking at standard and code. Standard and code consideration. What is standards? What is the code? Example of some standards. Standard and code and purposes. Some codes and purposes. And of course, some quick exercises. In chapter 4, we are going to be looking at some P&ID symbols. What is P&ID symbols? Legend and symbols sheet. Some typical symbols. Lines and P&ID symbol. VAR P&ID symbol. Shared display device instrument and P&ID symbol. Pump and P&ID symbol. Example of version of P&ID symbol. Computing function and of course some quick exercises. In chapter 5, we are going to be looking at component of process loops. What is control loop? Component of control loop. Primary element and sensors. Transducer, transmitter, signal, pneumatic signal, digital signal, indicators, recorder, controllers, programmable logic controller, distributed control system, DCS, intelligent electronic devices, IED, remote terminal unit, ROTU, final control element, instrument classification, identification and functions, primary instruments, secondary instruments, auxiliary instrument, accessory instrument, process loop arrangement, feed forward control system, open loop, feedback control system, closed loop, introduction to PID, and of course some quick exercises. What you will learn in chapter 6. In chapter 6, we are going to be looking at block flow diagram. Example, production of benzene. Users of PFD. What to include in a PFD. Conventions and rules. How to plan a PFD. Example, production of ethyl from ethanol. Steps, production of ethyl from ethanol, PFD development. And of course, some quick exercises. In chapter 7, lesson 1. Here we're going to be looking at process flow diagram. What is process flow diagram? Purpose and benefit of PFD. What PFD should include? What to exclude from PFD? The information contained in a typical PFD. Process topology or process unit location. Equipment information. Identification of equipment. Streams information. Streams numbering and drawing. Essential information of PFD. A typical PFD. Quick exercises. What you learn in chapter 8. Lesson 1. Here we're going to be looking at utility flow diagram. Common plant utilities. Some example of utility stream identification. Quick exercises. In chapter 9, we're going to be looking at battery limit. What is battery limit? Inside battery limit and outside battery limit, and some quick exercises. What you learn in chapter 10, lesson 1 to 7. Here in lesson 1, we're going to be looking at process instrumentation diagram, P&ID. What is P&ID? What does P&ID provide? And some quick exercises. Chapter 10, lesson 2. Identification and numbering of unit instruments. Equipment identification and numbering system. Quick exercises. Chapter 10, lesson 3. Line identification and numbering system. Practical example of line identification. Line service code. Practical example of line service code, process line. Practical example, line service code, auxiliaries. Practical example, line service code, utilities. Illustration of equipment, identification, and numbering system. And of course, some quick exercises. In lesson 4, we're going to be looking at slope, rolling, no pocket, free drain lines. In lesson 5, we're going to be looking at instrument, identification, and numbering system. Understanding instrument and control symbols. More illustration of instrument and control symbols. Bin. Example of some letter combination as presented. Tagging, pressure indicator controller. Another method of tagging and some quick exercise. In lesson 6, we are going to be looking at valve identification and numbering systems. Valve identification types and functions. State of valve positioning. FC, LO, FC, FO, SC. Isolated bypass of valve. We're going to be looking at spectacle blind, double block, bleed, vent and drain, relief valve configuration. In lesson 7, we're going to be looking at P&ID, type and specification, process units P&ID, utilities P&ID, typical and detailed P&ID, distribution P&ID, pump auxiliary P&ID, package P&ID, legend and symbol P&ID, and then we'll look at some quick exercises as well. In chapter 11, lesson 1 to 3, we're going to be looking at lesson 1, we're going to be looking at P&ID revision discussion, stages of P&ID evaluation, issue for client comment, issue for approval or preliminary issue for design, issue for construction, approve for construction, the issue for record, as-built diagram, revision illustration, and of course some quick exercises. In lesson 2, we're going to be looking at preparation of as-built diagram P&ID, methodology of preparing an as-built P&ID, procedures, and of course some quick exercises. In lesson 3, chapter 11, we're going to be looking at precision concern, common example of inaccuracy in P&ID, assessing P&ID as deliverables, and some quick exercises. In chapter 12, we are going to be looking at P&ID drafting layout, P&ID drafting, layout and format of flow diagram, title box or title block preparation, P&ID and PFD arrangement, line continuation symbols, software and source for drafting or drawing P&ID, and of course some quick exercises. What you learn in chapter 13. In chapter 13, we are going to be looking at cause and effect diagrams, cause and effect diagram, basic layout of cause and effect diagram, type of cause and effect diagram, causes enumeration diagram, dispersion analysis diagram, process analysis diagram, benefit of cause and effect diagram, advantage and disadvantage of cause and effect diagram, limitation of cause and effect diagram, using the cause and effect analysis tool, practical illustration of cause and effect chart, and of course some quick exercises. After completing the self-learning content, participants will have acquired good understanding of what P&ID is all about, and participants should feel very proud for getting the fundamental tools and skills and working knowledge of P&ID. Of course, there are still more to learn about P&ID, but the skill acquired here should stand participants in good stead. Thank you.